Okay, so today we're going to be doing 8 bars of a contrafact that I wrote of the Charlie Parker tune Confirmation. I'm still working on the title. Maybe it should be called Unconfirmed. Anyway, let's get into it. One of the things I felt it was good to talk about before we get into harmonic analysis or any of that, is we got to talk about the rhythm, the power of bebop. Right, is the rhythm. And a lot of times if you hear bebop heads, they have a very percussive, it almost sounds like a drummer wrote it, right? If we take the head from Confirmation, pop 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 pop, right? It sounds like a drum solo, you know. Same way with this tune Uncompromised, we got pop 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 pop, right? Has that very triplet driven thing to it, right? We have these 8th note triplets, and then we have these 16th note triplets in there too. And that's really what kind of helps to shape these tunes, is that, you know, Bird in general, he loved triplets, and I think that serves as good vehicles for getting the tune moving forward versus a lot of like 8th note lines in there and a lot of chord notes. We got some of them in there, but, you know, speaking rhythmically. And then we also have these things where none of the phrases really start on the strong beat. It's always kind of like a lead in, you know. The first thing is dee-dop, right? We have this kind of answer right here. 8th note answer, then we have this chord note, and then we go to this other phrase. We have another kind of lead in, you know, and those little bit of triplets in there that break up that 8th note really captures to me the essence of what makes bebop so great, right? And one of the great things is when you hear this and then we go to the relation between going between the 16th note triplet and then back to the 8th note triplet, helps to give the music a certain type of momentum, speeding up and then gradually slowing down without changing tempo at all. It's really beautiful stuff. And then this nice little figure here where we have is kind of like on the and of 4, bubble bubble bop bow. You know, that kind of serves as just more excitement. When you're writing bebop, when you're thinking about writing this stuff, you have to think more like a drummer than necessarily sitting thinking about it, I guess, from a pianistic standpoint. When I wrote this, I was writing it, you know, on the saxophone, because, you know, I'm more of a saxophone player than a piano player, but that's another topic. Okay, so more or less you get the gist. Now we're going to move on to like more of the harmonic, you know, standpoint. You know, this tune is a contrafact of confirmation, which means the changes are exactly the same. And I really didn't want to do a service and go outside of what we kind of already know, right? So the most important notes of the chord are, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, the 3rds and the 7th, right? Let's see, I'm messing up here. Hold on 1 second. A7, flat 9, there we go. Yeah, most important notes of the chord are the 3rds and the 7th. So when we're looking at this tune, the very beginning, it's cliche, land on the 1. Da, 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 da. And then, you know, we do this motion off of the 3rd, which is just kind of like a chromatic type of movement, just to help us get to the 3rd of the next chord, which is where we start. And I love that you have like this minor 3rd movement here, da 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 da, right? And all I tried to do here was to add a little bit of variation. We have D going to E, and then the D becomes a D flat or C sharp, which is the 3rd of this chord right here. You know, right? And then back to the real book changes, says D minor 7 to a G7. I don't know, I think that's up for debate, but anyway, it's the 3rd of the D minor, right? And then we have this next beautiful chord, which is C minor 7 to the F7, and I need to work better with my writing a little bit. Right, C minor 7 to the F7, and you know, really what this is is a E flat major arpeggiation, which kind of highlights that 9 relationship, right? Which sounds so, you know, pretty and beautiful. And Bird was known for doing it, highlighting those extensions to the chords. You know, 7th, bubble dot, and then you said, "Oh, Kendrick, where's the resolution?" C minor 7 to F7. The resolution is right here. So the B flat, right before we end the tune, resolves to the A. Okay, and then and I love this with Bird writing this tune here. There we go, B flat 7. I need to write this better. We have a little bit of a blues here, right? Because it's the only chord that highlights that minor third relationship, which is where we can get that real blues sound of the tune, you know. And it's highlighted even more by what? You guessed it, the triplets. And then we kind of use the 6th relationship, right? If we call this the 6th of the B flat 7, but it also becomes the 7th of the A minor 7. Right, and where does the 7 want to go down? It wants to resolve down to the 3rd. And then we have this da 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 da. Same chromatic, similar motion that we had up here, right? So one thing that makes great writers is being able to use the same information, but in different spots. It gives the tune a sense of cohesiveness, and it don't sound like you're just writing a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So we got ba da 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 up here, and then we got da 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 da. And of course, next chord is the G7, and that F is highlighting that. And actually, here, I like that look better. Actually, the G7 and the A flat makes this chord a flat 9. And I don't think that's in the chord, but hey, you know, when you're your own writer, you write what you want to write. So 7, and then we go to this C7 here. And okay, and then we have this kind of same thing, flat 9 motion. So you know, really those you know, Bird was really one of those first cats in bebop was when they started adding those alterations to the chords. So a lot of times, just where you hear like these flat 9s, like right here and right there and right there, you know, that's where that relationship comes from. And you know, you get, of course, all of that to resolve back to 1, right, which is the F major. So I hope that made some sense. This is a great tune. Let me know if you guys like this. Let me know if you want me to finish it. We could do it, you know, writing as I'm talking, maybe, kind of thing. But we'll see. Let me know how you like this series. I think Unconfirmed is a great title for this. So, you know, Unconfirmed. All right. Thank you guys, and happy writing.